Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an episode of Career Mode Goodness. Now, as you guys can see from last episode, Gareth Barry was chuffed with the fact that he was now being played in the first team, because we all know he was pretty unhappy with the fact that his contract said he would be an important first team player, and he was far from it. So, with that being said, I had my next game going up against Cardiff City. I believe it was the Capital One Cup. I think it was, anyways. It was definitely one of the cups. But Cardiff City being Cardiff City, they were a good side. But the team that I put out was actually one that I delegated to my assistant manager, because I felt as though, the assistant manager might as well pick the players that wanted to play, and I figured he'd just choose the players that would, suit a game where I can kind of have not my first team on there, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So it took until the 80th minute for Muriel to manage to get one in the back of the net, and that made it 1-0. But Cardiff City were actually a really strong opponent. I have no idea why I found them so tough, but those sort of goals there are the most annoying goals to concede in this game, and that meant that I drew 1-1 to Cardiff City, which in all honesty was pretty disappointing, because I would definitely like to pick up a win, but that just means next time I'll have to do better. But with that being said, I had to swap around the team a little bit. I wasn't impressed with what my assistant manager put on the field. I felt as though, I definitely wanted my young players to be starting with Zuma, Natasic, Mbaye, players like that, Muriel, Sharawi, all starting up. For some reason, he felt it was necessary to have Campbell and things like that starting, and I just didn't feel as though that the assistant manager was any good. But anyways, early on, Liverpool managed to get a goal. This was another cup game, but it was Asaidi that put the nail in the coffin there, and that was horrible. I mean, he played so well last season as well. I believe he was the top goal scorer for Liverpool, but Liverpool decided to go into beast mode and brought on the loan from they must have bought him from Real Madrid, actually, because Sahim was on loan last season, so they either bought him or they had extended his loan. But they also brought on Suarez as well, which was quite interesting. So with that being said, I just couldn't manage to put another goal in the back of the net, which was disappointing. But Liverpool's a quality side in this game, and for that reason they won 1-0 at home. I really would have liked to have beat Liverpool, especially with me wanting to push for Champions League football, but it wasn't meant to be, and that's just the way the cookie ended up crumbling. And my next game was up against Fulham. I decided to put out a strong squad for this one. Muriel, Sharawi up front, Ramirez and Muriel in the centre attacking midfield roles. And that worked out really well. Muriel in this game is just a god. That cut back in there was really nice and quick, and he managed to kick off the goal scoring in the 17th minute. But it didn't take long for him to want to get another one, and it was Muriel again, who was just hungry for the ball, as you can see, running around like a complete lunatic there. Just nicks the ball off him and rockets one into the top right. I mean, this player is seriously incredible. Like, you shoot from anywhere, he's pretty much guaranteed going to at least be on target. Another Ronaldo chop and a smash, but he got a bit unlucky there. But he's just such a great player, and I just feel as though whenever he's on the ball, there's always the chance he's going to score. And again, in the 90th minute, to seal his hat-trick, he manages to put it in the back of the net. And every goal he scores, I feel as though is just bumping up his value even more. He's currently the top goal scorer in the Premier League. I believe he has 6 at this point in the league, and that is just huge. But nevertheless, I had my European League games, and I was top of the table, as you guys see there, with Anderlecht just underneath me, and I had previously beaten FC Fuck just earlier on, and that was a good win. But then I had Shamrock Rovers, and it was important that I beat this team. I really did want to. They did have Gary Twig, the famous Gary Twig, but early on in the game, very early on in the game, Jose Basingwa, the right back, did get injured, and I was really annoyed with that. But I decided to take him off and put on who was it? I didn't manage to see who I put on, but I put on someone, and I also brought on Matix. And the reason why I brought on Matix was for the fact that, a game like this against Shamrock Rovers, I did want to get Matix playing a lot of the game, because I felt as though it was necessary. And I just saw there it was Traore that I actually brought on for Jose Basingwa. And, from then on, the game went pretty well, in all honesty. Ramirez gets a little bit lucky with the few bounces there. And to kick it off, Matix get a goal. and it was really nice to see. Whenever he comes on, I feel as though he scores. It's really strange. I'm not too sure why that is, but whenever he comes on, he's a bit like a super sub, and he'll just go on and do something special. And as you guys see, just straight off the bat, he goes and gets a goal. You know, he is a fantastic player despite his low rating, but a great chip through ball, and Fellaini is going to finish that 9 out of 10 times. He's just so big and so dominant. I have to admit, though, his pace really isn't that great, and he feels quite chunky, but when he is on the ball, he is an absolutely quality player. But the keeper does well there to get rid of the danger and clear it away from the goal. But the boys were just a little bit too strong for Shamrock Rovers, and that doesn't really come as a surprise. But finally, El Shaarawy manages to get a goal, and El Shaarawy has been doing all right, but he hasn't really had his goal-scoring shoes on a lot recently, so I was really pleased with the fact that he managed to get a goal, because it has been a long time waiting. But he spots the space out in the left wing, and Ramirez finishes that with ease. And he got man of the match and a 9.8 rating, although for me, it's got to be Matix that was my personal man of the match player, because he did play very well, and I did feel as though that he deserved something else. But it was great that Ramirez managed to get a goal, and I believe he got an assist as well. But that means the 4-0 win for us, and that'll do it for me today. I apologize for the slightly short episode. There will be longer ones in the future, but I woke up kind of late. I had a nice long sleep. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Staring at a blank canvas, behind closed doors, no cameras. I gotta get my head down, move forward and never look backwards. Looking at the time and clearly, that time is nearly here. But are we prepared?